Generation X is the most inclusive generation ever, and here's why. Let me break it down for you. Okay, Generation X is the most inclusive generation. And it's not because we had endless discussions or made big deal about it. We didn't hold hands and sing songs about acceptance. No, we just didn't give a damn about all the labels that people seem to be obsessed with today. You can call yourself whatever you want, your gender, your sexuality, your identity, your politics. It's all fine. But here's the thing. None of that matters to us. Actually matters is if you're a strong person, someone who can be counted on when the chips are down. I mean, if you've got grit, if you've got heart, if you're the type of person who will have our back when things get tough, that is all that we care about. And trust me, if you're that person, we'll have yours too. That's the Gen X way. You don't need to know every little detail about your personal life because it's not our business. We only care about whether or not you can stand up and face what life throws at you. Because let's be real, life is a brutal game. And most of the time, it doesn't give a damn about your feelings. Now, yes, we grew up in a time where toughness was valued. We weren't coddled. We weren't handed participation trophies just for showing up. We didn't have the safe spaces or the constant reassurances that everything would be okay. In fact, things were often definitely not okay. And you had to figure this shit out on your own. Yeah, we were latchkey kids. The ones who were left to fend for ourselves and didn't have helicopter parents hovering over us, making sure we were all right. We were expected to figure it out. And guess what? We did. So when we look at all the bullshit people get wrapped up in today, who said what, who got offended, what someone identifies as, it's freaking exhausting. None of that would have flown in our day. We didn't have time to worry about it because we were too damn busy surviving and trying to make something of ourselves. And that, I believe, is the core difference. We didn't spend time navel-gazing or getting into identity politics because we were more concerned with the person in front of us. Not the labels they carried, but are you strong? Are you reliable? Are you someone we can count on? Because that is what we cared about. The rest, that's just noise. We didn't need to shout it from the rooftops about being inclusive because we just did it. People today, they love to throw around that word inclusive like it's some badge of honor. Well, let me tell you something. True inclusion is about making a show of accepting who you are. It's about treating people with respect regardless of who they are and letting actions speak louder than any words or labels ever could. We didn't give a damn if you were gay, straight, or something in between. Hell, most of us didn't even know what half the terms people use today meant. And guess what? We didn't need to. What mattered was whether or not you were a good person. Someone who would stick around when things got hard. Someone who wasn't afraid to get their hands dirty. The kind of person who could take a punch and still get back up. That's inclusion. The kind based on character, not what group you belong to. And this whole culture of needing validation for every damn thing you do, we don't get it. We didn't need to put our struggles on display for the world to see, asking for pats on the back or sympathy. We dealt with our shit privately. We learned that life isn't fair and that most of the time no one's coming to save you. So we learned to save ourselves, and we sure as hell didn't sit around waiting for applause for doing it. That is why we look at the world now and we just shake our heads. Everyone's so busy broadcasting their struggles, asking for likes, shares, comments about how brave they are. It's bloody exhausting. The truth is, we all have problems. Every generation does. The difference is, we didn't air ours out for attention. We sucked it up, we dealt with it, and we moved on. And that is why we don't buy into all the sensitivity and hand-holding going on today. We didn't need to be told how strong or inclusive we are. We just are. We show it by our actions, not by what we scream into the void or run around yelling about on social media. That's real inclusion. It's not about labels or boxes. It's about being a decent human being who steps up when it matters. If you're a stand-up person who's got real integrity, we don't care about the rest. We don't care about your gender, your sexuality, or your damn political views, or any other detail that today's world likes to dissect into a million pieces. We're only interested in your backbone, your ability to weather the storm, and whether or not you're someone we'd want in our corner. Let me give you an example. When we were kids, nobody cared if you were different. You could have been the weirdest kid in class and it didn't matter. What mattered was how you handled yourself. If you stood tall and didn't let someone push you around, you earned respect. Respect wasn't something you demanded. It was something you earned. And once you had it, it didn't matter who you were. People would have your back because you proved yourself through your actions and not your damn identity. That's the thing people don't understand about us. We don't need a manual on how to treat people. We've been treating people with respect for decades, long before it became fashionable to wear this inclusivity like a badge. We don't care what you are. We care who you are. All this talk about representation, diversity, and inclusion, it's well-intentioned, sure, but it is missing the point. It's focused on appearances and not on what really matters. We didn't need representation to feel included. We made our own place at the table by showing up and doing the work. We didn't ask for permission, and we didn't wait for someone to invite us. We just did it. And if you didn't like it, top shit. That's precisely why it blows our minds when people talk about GenX like we're some relics from the past who don't get it. We get it better than most. We didn't just preach inclusion. We lived it. We didn't care what color your skin was, who you loved, or what you believed in. We cared about whether or not you could be counted on. That is inclusion in the truest form. And the world could use a little more of that these days. So if you're out there just looking for validation, wanting the world to tell you how special you are of some label you wear, we're not the generation for you. We're not going to hand you a gold star just for existing. What we will do is respect you if you show up, you work hard, and don't make excuses. We'll have your back if you prove you're someone who can be trusted when it counts. We'll stand with you if you've earned it, not because of what box you tick on some form, but because of who you are as a person. We don't need to wave a flag or wear a slogan to show how inclusive we are. Our inclusivity comes from treating people like equals, not making a spectacle out of it. We don't care about your quirks or your weird-ass ideas. If you're solid, that's all that matters. We've been living by that code since day one, and it has worked for us. We all survived by sticking together, and we didn't need to go making a show of it. At the end of the day, Generation X is the most inclusive generation because we don't waste time on bullshit. We see through all the noise. What matters to us is who you are when things get real. And if you got what it takes to stand up when it counts, then you're one of us. Simple as that. That's all I got to say on the matter. If you don't like it, tough shit. If you agree, excellent. But it needed to be said so people can understand. So until next time, I'll see y'all later, and peace out, everyone.